Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025, and it is Yom Hamishi, fifth day of the week, 27 of Av, of 5785, the Hebrew year 5785, and it's the weekly Torah portion is Re'eh. It is the 27th day of Safar, which is the second month in the Islamic calendar, and the al-Qara calendar, and it's the Hijri dating from the year 622, was the year that Muhammad came from Mecca to Medina, and that's 1447 years ago. And I'm not exactly sure why I started with the Islamic calendar. I'm not sure, but it came through a gematria, as most other things do. And someone was looking for the gematria. This person said 451, and I knew off the top of my head that it was Yishmael, which is basically the patriarch of the Islamic world, the Arab world. And so I just said it's Yishmael, and then that was in my mind, and the thought came to include it or not. So then I rolled the dice, a goral, and then it came out that I should, so I did. So we'll see what happens, and here we are. This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar, based on the planet Koach. Koach is an acronym for Kochav Chama, which is Mercury. There's a reason why I say it, it's spelled out that way, because Mercury is some kind of a Roman deity, so I'd like to make a little differentiation between that. But the planet itself, according to published data, revolves around the sun about 88 of our Earth days, and that's the length of time this calendar measures. It's just basically 3 months. And that's a certain time period that comes from the book of Exodus regarding the Redeemer, the first Redeemer of Israel, Moses. Of blessed memory, it says that when Pharaoh wished to kill all the baby boys, his mother hid him, in Exodus chapter 2, hid him for 3 months, Vatitzpaneu Shlosha Yerachim. And she hid him for 3 months, and then she sent him on the river with a basket, an ark. And that's the secret of this time period. And 40 is the gematria numerical value. This is based on, in case you haven't realized already, everything is based on gematria. Everything based on numerical values, and there are concepts, but the concepts are all represented by numbers. And so the word Goel, Redeemer, has a numerical value in regular Hebrew gematria of 40, because Lamed is 30, Gimel is 3, Vav is 6, Aleph is 1, not in that order, but the same letters. That's 40. And 40 is the line of demarcation, if you want to call it that, or maybe the equator, or maybe it's called the Kav of this calendar, in that it goes in a sequence of 8 plus 9, and it resets at 40. So 8, 17, 25, 34, 2, 11, 19, 28, 36, 5, 13, 22, like that. It's 22, 30, 39, 7, 16. So it's constantly adding 8 plus 9, and it's constantly resetting at 40. All based on gematrias and verses in the Bible. Today, this is the idea behind this is called the Gematria Thought Calendar, because it calculates time as being gematriatically arranged. It sees time as basically just one big message, one long reel of film. Maybe we can see with different still frames in it, but it's just one long gematriatic film. And the idea of this calendar is to decode that day by day, and it really makes time just an unfolding of information. That's the basic premise behind this calendar. I came up with what I thought was a catchy title for it, or slogan, is concentrating. I forgot what it is right now. organized gematriatic thought in chronological sequences, or something like that. Anyways, that's kind of the idea. So the amazing thing is that some of the things are so uncanny, and they're all. What's really amazing about this is they're all 100% true, and they're all events that I didn't plan beforehand. That's kind of the criteria. That's the criteria of what this calendar has to be. It should be events that you didn't plan, you didn't order them, and also you're not reading into it. You have to just read from it. In other words, you don't come in the beginning of the day saying, I have a set of numbers, and I'm going to make whatever happens today fit into those numbers. You could do that, and I might have done that in the past, but that's not what I've been doing recently. But recently what I've been doing is not having any preconceived ideas, letting a good part of the day pass by already, and then, only then, looking in the calendar on that day, and it can't be any other number, and then seeing if it matches. Then it's a little bit, I think, there's more integrity to that. So here, I like to run this by everyone and see how this would be interpreted. This I can't explain many of the things that come up, other than it's a script, and these numbers are just kind of tuning into it, the script that's already written. Okay, today is, and maybe that's one of the reasons why I started the Islamic calendar down, because that's part of the equation as well. Just to mention it, there was some kind of prophecy of Islam. I've heard this from a credible source and more than one place. So that when the Jews and the Christians make peace, then Islam will submit. So that means that there will be world peace, literally, on all levels, if there can be some agreement between all the major world religions. So I think maybe that's why I included the Islamic calendar, just for the consciousness to start meshing in there somehow. But anyway, today is August 21st, like I said, Thursday. Now, there's a lot of like rules and like tedious, how should I say it? Like a lot of, I won't go through those rules because they take a lot of time, but there are rules that need to be governed by, and I govern my thought by those rules, and they're flexible, but they're not immutable. They're not changeable. They're flexible though. They're rules that sort of have a give and take, but there is a point where they don't give anymore, and if you go beyond that boundary, you're breaking the rule. And so the rule is that every box that you see, whether it's purple or violet or purple or lavender, they can become one rectangle. So there's a square, or it's a box. The box typically means it has a number. And so today, the 21st day of any month, whether lunar or solar, because it's a both lunar and solar calendar, is going to be 21st day of any month is going to be in box 18 right here. You start counting 1. These are 8-day weeks, and you come to 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21, you're going to be in 18. Okay? So today, 21st of August, 18. Just keep that in mind. I'll expound on that before I go on further. The 18th event is today. The event is something that is in the accounting system. It's called the event, or simply event. An event has a multitude of meanings and shades of meaning and applications. But generally speaking, event is something between a currency, as in a cryptocurrency, and history and thought about itself, a self-aware, a thought that is an energy form that is self-aware, that both includes currency and history, yet is not limited to any physical computer. It's not stored in any blockchain, rather it's stored organically. Organically means in my mind, in your mind, in anyone's mind who wants to engage with the event. The event is something you engage in. You engage in the event. Just like the literal meaning in English, event is something that happens. And event is also a mental event, something that happens in the mind, something that happens in physical reality, and something that happens financial reality, and many other different levels where something can happen, and does happen, has happened, or might be likely to happen in the future, and continues to happen on a daily basis. And the rules behind this event, most of them are based on Torah and some of it rabbinic understanding of the Torah, rabbinical hermeneutics, along with Kabbalistic thought, govern the laws of this event. And an event can be like a dollar, but can also just be a memory too. It's both. It's essentially non-physical, and yet it can manifest in a physical form. And today, and I always look for validation to see if these ideas have anything to them. Do they hold any water? Are they viable? Are they anything? Are they going to turn into anything? And every once in a while, I get confirmation. Today is one of those days. Today, see the zero. It's something in math. Something I've heard being talked about is a first, second, third. But is there something called a zeroth? The zeroth. You're making the first. If the ground zero is at the zeroth time, and I debate in my mind whether zero is a number and you can call it the zeroth. If you called it the zeroth, then it would just be the first, right? And then the first would be the second. I mean, literally it's the first. But there's something about the concept of zero that is different than being the first. It's almost like sublime. It's like it's the first, but it's not really even the first yet. It's like something that's both inside and outside of time. It's sort of a paradoxical state, if you will. And so I'm applying it. I do apply it sometimes, and I also sometimes do not apply it. But in this case, I do apply the zeroth event. The zeroth event occurs on Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of Av. And there's an important reason why it's the 9th day of Av, because the 9 is the last of the single digits. Before it goes to 10, it resets into the next level of double digits. And so if you go from 0 to 9, you have... well, I don't want to say anything about it that I don't know. I'll just be making it up right now. So let's keep it at that. It seemed to me that the zeroth event is Tisha B'Av, and the very first event is Yud B'Av, the 10th day of Av. And there are several reasons for that, which I won't go into right now. But if you count 18 days from the first day, meaning Yud B'Av, 10th of Av is day 1, 11 is day 2, 12 is day 3, if you do it that way, then the 21st day of Av, hold on, I don't want to make a mistake here. '21st day of Av. It's not the 21st day. I confuse them. It's the 21st day of August. So let's go back. It was August 4th. If you count 18 days starting with August 4th as day 1. August 5th, because August 4th is 10th of Av. It gets confusing sometimes. So 10th of Av, yes, but I'm not counting from 10th of Av. I'm counting from August 4th. Because we're in the solar right now. We're going to get to the lunar in a moment. August 4th is 10th of Av, but if you add 18 days, starting with August 4th is 1, August 5th is 2, August 6th is 3, like that, then August 21st will be 18. Right here. Alright? August 4th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. See? 18. So what's interesting is that 18 days, 18th event, actually, we landed in box 18. And it doesn't go 1, 2, 3. It goes 8 plus 9 plus 8 plus 9, and it cuts off at 40. So the fact that the 18th event is in box 18 is really neat. But in English Gematria, the 18th event equals 200. The 18th event equals 200. I need to check and see that. I'll come right back here to make sure. But this is really amazing to verify this, because what I do is English Gematria is something that I found is heavily coded with many secrets and deep meaning. Yes, the 18th event has a numerical value of 200 in the standard Gematria cipher. Okay? And today, and 200 is an amount of money that I was given to do something. And I had that cash, and I could have used it for something else. This is going back a week or so ago. And I could have said, I'll go get cash later and use it. But the person who gave me that 200 gave it in good faith that I would use it for this thing. And just as I went to the store today, it just so happens that their ATM, whatever, their ability to accept credit cards or debit cards was not working today. So that's a drag. Now I have to go to the ATM in a far place to get 200. But I said, you know what? I want to keep the integrity of that 200 because that person gave me that amount. Well, guess when that happened? Today, on box 18, and the 18th event equals 200 exactly. How do you explain that? Just luck? Just randomness? I don't think so. That can't be. I can't say that that's anything other than a deliberate and intentional plan by a higher intelligence that I just happened to get a glimpse into. And that's one of the amazing things about it. But let's go deeper. 18th event, we're in box 18, and today on the Hebrew calendar, it's the 27th day of Av. Look at the box that's next to 18. What is next to 18? 27. Did I make that? No, I didn't. I didn't cause that 8 plus 9 is 17. I didn't cause that 18 plus 9 is 27. I didn't make that. I didn't invent that. No, I didn't. You might think I did, but I didn't. 18 plus 9 has always been 27, long before any of us have been born. And yet, on the 18th event, which is in box 18, it is next to the 27th day of Av, which happened today. But it gets better. That's just the lunar part. Let's go to this. That's just the solar part. Now let's go back to the lunar part. It's the 27th day of Av. And if you count the 27th day of Av, count from here, and you get to 29. Yeah. What number is next to 29? What is today's Gregorian date? 21st. How did that happen? How is it that on the Hebrew calendar, it's next to a 21? It's this date, the same date. Now you could say that what I'm talking about is very simple matter of arithmetic. It doesn't seem simple to me because it doesn't happen every day. It happens once in a while like this. But I'm trying to find out what are the principles and mathematical rules that govern when this happens and when it doesn't happen. If you can figure that out, you might be able to figure a lot more things out. Let's keep it at that. But today is the 27th day. It's the 18th event. Now, what I've established so far is that you have the English date, I'll call it English date just because, English date and the Hebrew date that are next to both of the days in the PL-89. And remember, the rule is that each one of these purple can become one box, so it's not outside the rule. You can go, any box next to it is considered that same day. There should be some understanding to that as well. And I have derived the rules and the sequence and the number patterns from the Bible. So this should also prove that the Bible is truth. Because if you can predict things or calculate things with such accuracy that it is true on a number of fronts, a number of levels. You're dealing with a number of religions here. You're dealing with, Islam, Judaism, Christianity. You're dealing with, the playing field is leveled here, and only truth will prevail. And that's what's behind it. But how do you determine that on this calendar, based on this, all the rules of it, the day that we're on it is next to the Hebrew and next to the English date that everyone else will say that's the date, not me. I mean, you could say that I'm using this calendar because this came to me, but every other person in the world, no matter whether their denomination of Judaism or Christianity, will agree that today is August 21st, will agree that today is the 27th day of Av. And yet, on this calendar, they're next to both of those dates in this calendar, which I didn't plan, and I think you'll believe me when I say I didn't plan it. But taking this a step further, I'd like to focus on the idea of one of the reasons why this calendar was made in the first place. There's something in Judaism, it's not as well known and not as well studied, but people who study Judaism a little bit deeper than just the surface will recognize what I'm about to say. It's called the Sod HaIbur. The Sod HaIbur is translated as the secret of intercalations. And there is a set way of making leap years. Now that we have a calendar set from maybe this second or third century, maybe 4th century, around there, 300s. I think it was 358 by Hillel the Smaller. Hillel the Lesser, something like it wasn't Hillel the Great, it was Hillel that came later. Established through mathematical rules the calendar that we use today. And it's said that this calendar will be in use until the Messiah comes. What happens then? Well, let's find out. But this calendar should, hopefully, is part of what I would like to see at least make some progress leading us to that. So we have a calendar and we have leap years in order to regulate that Passover should be in Chodesh Aviv, in the springtime. Because every few years is a drift and the calendar moves a little bit towards the winter. And if it crosses a certain date line, it won't be in Aviv anymore. Therefore, every 3 years or so, sometimes less, sometimes more, 2 or 3 years, there is a leap year. And leap years come at unique times, and there are special kinds of leap years. For example, last year in 2024 was a unique leap year. It was a leap year that came after only 2 years, not 3 years. The same type of leap year happened in 2016, Tafshin Ayin Vav, and the same one happened in Tafshin Peidal, 5784. But generally, there is a leap year, that's the first of the cycle. The next year is a Shana Pshuta, as it's called, a simple year, meaning that's like a basic year. That's what we're in right now. And then after that, there is something that I call Shana Mukdemet, or I call it a spring year or an early year. It's the last year before the next leap year. And when do we determine leap years? And why? Well, there should be 7 leap years in every 19-year period. It's called the Metonic cycle. And that's why every 19 years, your English birthday and your Hebrew birthday will be the same. But what determines and why are those leap years where they are? That is, generally speaking, the Sod HaIbur, the secret of intercalations. And this calendar is an attempt at understanding the Sod HaIbur. Little by little, and that's why I include the Gregorian calendar and I include the Julian calendar, is the calendar the world used prior to 1582, and prior to 1752, because that's when England adopted it, and then prior to 1923 is when Greece, the last country, adopted the calendar that we have that makes it today August 21st. But many changes happened today, and I noticed that this video is going extraordinarily long, and I think that's part of it as well. But I remember in 2017 that there was a solar eclipse. I think it was a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse, one or the other. It was during the daytime, so maybe it was a solar eclipse. But I'm not sure. But it was on August 21st of 2017. And so maybe that's the August 21st connection, but I'm pretty sure it's August 23rd. Is it 23rd? 21st. It's around this time. I think it's the 21st, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was the 23rd. So, but even if it was not exactly, it was around this time. So, but anyway, we were talking about 18, right? Box 18 and 21. Why is it that we would have 18 being next to the 27th of Av, and the 21 next to being the next to 29, which is the 27th day of Av? Why would that happen just today? Well, if we're going to go into my studies of the Soda Eid War, I will tell you this, that in the year 2018 and the year 2021, they were similar. Why? They were both Shana Mukdemes. They were both early years, meaning 2018 went by, and Rosh Hashanah of that year, meaning Rosh Hashanah of 2018 was 5779, meaning for most of 2018, it was a spring year, which means everything happened extremely early. Passover was like at the end of March, and Rosh Hashanah was in early September, and the same type of year, the same basic layout. You know, there's a couple of given dates, it's not exactly the same, but there's a wiggle room. But basically, 2021 for most of that year was also an early year. So I think that if you would understand this more, I guess one more step next to figuring it out, that a year before a leap year has a certain quality to it that affects consciousness in a particular way, in the same way that a leap year has a certain consciousness, and the same way that a simple year, Shana Pshuta, has consciousness. And so that's what I can tell you about 18 and 21, and maybe that's the reason why the English and Hebrew dates are both next to it in this PL-89 calendar, because this is meant to bring reconciliation, bring a connection between the two. Esav being represented by the sun, Yaakov by the moon. And so that's one reason that I would speculate as to the 18 and the 21.